Hi everyone, and welcome to Think Happy with Tammy. I'm going to do a quick book review on one of my favorite books. I read this book about 10 years ago when my 25-year marriage fell apart. And I really wish I had read it during that time. So the book is The 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman. I recently got to go and see him speak about this book and the 5 love languages, and I've actually read this book twice. It is a very good book about relationships. It's not just about, he was a marriage counselor, still is, but a marriage counselor. And so this book was written for marriages. However, the 5 love languages, which we're going to cover here in a minute, are ways that not only work in marriages, but they work in all relationships in our life. They help us to navigate those relationships and love people the way that they want to be loved. Because what we tend to do is, if we feel like missing love inside ourselves, we tend to love the other person the way that we desire to be loved. And that never works, because that's not how the other person wants to be loved. Everybody has their own love language, and it describes how they want to be loved in life. And this can be with your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend, your friendships, your children, your relationship with your children, relationship with your parents, grandparents, co-workers. It can be, this helps in every relationship in your life, because it teaches you how to speak to people in the way that they desire to be spoken to, or loved, or shown love. And so so the book is written, it's called The 5 Love Languages. Right. It's called The 5 Love Languages, and it's written by Dr. Gary Chapman. And so let's cover the 5 love languages. You can take the test online and find out which love language you are, what your primary love language is. You can be more than one love language, but we all have a primary way that we desire to be shown love to us. And so let's start covering that. So I encourage you to go and take the test and figure out which one is your primary love language and what is, and allow your spouse, if you're in a marriage, allow your spouse to take that test too, and start speaking to each other in each other's love language, and not speaking to your spouse in your love language. If you have the same love language, it covers it in the book how to handle that situation. And so I encourage you, I'm going to just briefly go over the 5 love languages and what they are, but I encourage you to get the book and to read it, because there's so much more in here that's not just about the love languages and how to speak to people and know how to love people through that, but there's a lot more information in here. So I fully encourage you to get the book, and I promise you your relationships in your life will start to change. And so the first love language is words of affirmation. And when you give somebody words of affirmation, it's not, it's giving words to people, saying things to people that lets them know, hey, I see you. I see you, and I value everything you do. I value what you've just said to me. I value what you've done today. I value the way you became a mother to our children, and how you talk to them, how you teach them. You know, it's just affirming to the person, hey, I see you, I hear you, and I value you. And that's words of affirmation. The second love language is quality time. And this is spending quality time with someone. It's not sitting at a table and having dinner and everyone's looking at their phone. It's sitting at a table and looking at a person and having a conversation with that person, and knowing that you're engaging in conversation with this person. That's quality time. It's taking a walk. It's sitting on the couch and talking to each other, not sitting on the couch and talking or watching Netflix, because when you're doing that, Netflix is getting your attention, not your partner. And that's what he talks about in here, about quality time. And number 3 is receiving gifts. Some people like to receive gifts as affirming that you appreciate them, and flowers is a very simple gift to give to somebody. A thank you card is a very simple gift to give to somebody. So that's receiving gifts. Number 4, if you want more details on these, I fully encourage you to get the book. It's well worth it. Love language number 4 is acts of service. And that's just doing something that you know is going to help that person. Like, let's take it out of the marriage scene into a friendship. If you see that your friend is feeling a little overwhelmed in life and busy with their kids, you can say, hey, you know what, I'm going to be on that side of town today. Would you like me to pick up your kids after school? And I'll bring them home to you. Or my kids go to that school as well, and I can pick up your kids if you want. It's just doing something. Or your grandmother, hey, Grandma, do you have some groceries that you need? I'm going to be going to the store today. Would you like me to pick up some things for you? It's just doing an act of service for that person that you know is going to help them. It helps take the stress off of life. Number 5 is physical touch. This is hugging someone, saying I love you. It's holding hands with someone, allowing your child to sit next to you with your arm around them and just listening to them read their book. Or it's just physically touching somebody in a way that shows affection and love, and a sincere affection and sincere love. And so everybody has a primary love language, and then you may have a second one that you also liked. And so for me, my primary love language is quality time. I love spending quality time with people. Doesn't mean I like spending a large amount of time with people, but when I am with them, I like to be present. I like them to be present and engage in a conversation and not be on their phone or doing something else, but be present in the moment and enjoying that moment. One thing I've done in my life is I've stopped taking a lot of pictures to post things on Facebook. There are some things that I really love and enjoy, and I like to share on Facebook. But I've really gotten into just being present with people and enjoying that moment and not having to put every single thing on Facebook. I love quality time with family, with my children, with my church family. I just like to be present when I'm in quality time. And that's my primary love language. The secondary one is words of affirmation. Because, and I think this comes from being raised in an abusive home, I didn't really feel affirmed in that home. And so I like to be affirmed. I like to be seen. I like to know that, hey, you see me. You see me, and you see the things that I do in life. And it's not all for nothing, let's put it that way. Yes, my second language is words of affirmation because I like to know that I've been seen and heard. And so I really encourage you to go and get this book for yourself, for your spouse. Read it together, Learn how to love people for who they are and in the way that they desire to be loved. And this applies to all relationships in your life. And so I really love this book, and I just wanted to share it and do a review on it and encourage each and every person to go and get it and start loving people the way they want to be loved and allow people to love you the way you want to be loved. And until next time, I love you guys. Bye, everyone.